This was like before the cameras were on, and obviously like we were greeting the judges, and I was like, good morning, saying her name, and then she goes, oh, don't wear that dress again, you look pregnant.
What's happening, people? We're here. Episode 6, we're back. A happy Valentine's Day. Lovely people in relationships right now. You single?
Yeah.
Simba, you single? It's not just me, cool. That would be awkward if it was just me. Hope everyone's good. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me. We have another special guest. We're back with some guests. We have Jennifer with us.
Hi.
How are you, Jennifer?
I'm
you good?
How are you?
I'm decent, thank you. Thank you for coming today.
Thanks for having
me. On this
me.
bad weather we're having. Just for a bit of background, so I know you through uni.
Mm-hmm.
We go uni together. So I'm a fashion guy, right?
Okay.
So I take pride in what I wear and that.
Yeah.
And I just like to look at some people and see what their dress sense is like.
Yeah.
So I noticed you and I noticed you through your fashion, through the things you wear and whatnot. And I was looking at her like, she knows how to dress. She knows how to dress. And then I saw your profile and I saw what you do and I was like, okay.
Yeah, makes sense.
So that's the reason it's all added up now. So you are a model.
Yeah, I'm a model.
So talk to us about that, man, about modelling. How's that been for you?
So I've been modelling for about 4 years now. And it's been a crazy journey full of highs and lows. I started in about 2017, 17, I believe. I made a New Year's resolution to do things that I've always been scared of doing.
When? Then?
New Year's.
Yeah.
I always try to make my New Year's resolution a little bit ambiguous and not specific to one part of my life so that I can apply it to everything that I do. So that was my New Year's resolution. Do something that you've always been scared of doing. I had a YouTube channel. So I started my YouTube channel then. So that was a big, I guess, jump for me because I'm quite closed with my friends. I've got a very small circle of friends. I can walk into a room, like back then, I could walk into a room and not say anything at all. So, I just wanted to put myself out there, be a little bit more confident. And I felt like at the time that was me throwing myself into the deep end. So once that gained momentum and, I started getting subscribers and, people following me on Instagram a little bit more, I was like, okay, cool. Time to move on to the next step. What's the next scariest thing?
Did it happen fast? Like a growth?
Yeah, because I just did a big chop. So I was doing natural hair tutorials on there, and then I was doing makeup.
I feel like that stuff is big. I feel like that world is big on YouTube.
Yeah, so I was doing really colourful looks and stuff like that. So yeah, it blew up quite quickly. I think I was on YouTube for 2 years, and then I had 2,000. I think I have 3,000 now, but I don't use it. I think I got around 2,900 subscribers within 2 years. So it was quite back then it was quite fast. That growth was quite fast. And then Instagram, my Instagram went up to 7K,
off YouTube.
Yeah, from YouTube. So it was crazy. So then I was like, okay, cool. What's the next thing? I've tried something that scared me and it turned out to not be so bad. So what's the next thing? So I was like, okay, cool. I want to try modeling because people always used to say, oh, you should model, you're tall, you're slim, you're this or that. And I was just like, yeah. But, so I tried that out, but I didn't really know where to start. So I went online and I applied for the model day things. Basically you go to a studio for a whole day and you have makeup, you have hair and makeup and outfits, and then they take pictures of you and then they promise you
we spoke about
it. They promise you a website, pictures and then sending them off to agencies and stuff like that. But back then that was like a big scam that was going on. So yeah, like I got scammed basically.
I got sold a dream of that as well, man.
Yeah.
Taking the pictures, I thought, yeah, this is it.
And they will always be telling you, oh my God, you look amazing. You're so natural. Yeah, knowing that they're taking your money. And yeah, so they'd take your money and, you know, they'd say they'd be in contact within a few days, and they never did. But I really did enjoy that day. So I was like, I really want more of that. I want to, you know, I think I can be good at this. I think I have a shot.
So it didn't deter you at all?
No, I think it made me a little bit more motivated because I felt like I kind of put that out there into the universe. So I wanted to see the results, I guess. So I was like, cool. What is the next step? What can I do? And I didn't know anyone that was a model. I didn't know about like going into walk-ins and like seeing agencies. I didn't know anything. All I knew was Britain's Next Top Model and America's Next Top Model. Yeah. Like, so I was like, okay, cool. These girls like have made a career out of this. And like, I was thinking Tyra Banks, Naomi Campbell did the face, but I was thinking I'd meet them and like eventually, and I'd be like this big model, like on TV, like it'd be so amazing. So I was like, okay, cool. I don't know how to follow this route or this path that I've just like stumbled across. So I applied for it. And
I was thinking I don't remember where or how I came across it, but I felt like I saw you on, I didn't know at the time.
Yeah.
But I felt like I was on, I don't know why I was on it. I don't know if you told me to or someone told me, or I just randomly searched your name. I don't know why, but I remember seeing something. You was on something like that.
Yeah.
Was it that Britain's? Yeah,
Britain's Next Top Model.
So how long ago was that?
Well, I filmed in 2017, and I think it came out in 2018. So yeah, I applied for it, and my mum wasn't really like for it. She wasn't really supportive in the beginning because obviously like African culture, they don't see it as a real career. But yeah, like she let me apply for it. She was just like, do it. Like obviously your heart's set on it, so do it. I'll support you. And then yeah, I ended up being on Britain's Next Top Model, and that was a crazy experience. Like I don't know, it felt like a dystopian world a little bit. It was not.
From someone like probably everyone who is not in that whole world, it does seem like a crazy.
It was crazy.
It does seem like a crazy industry to be in.
It was crazy. There's so many things that like people have never spoken up about that go on that show. Yeah. So
I mean, they wouldn't. Yeah, but you wouldn't know unless you're in it.
Yeah, I would say that I'm thankful for the experience and exposure.
Did it give you a lot of exposure?
It gave me some exposure. Like, yeah, I would say on social media, I've done like quite a few jobs from my name that I've built for myself on that show. So yeah, like I can't really bash it, but in terms of career, no, it didn't really do anything for my career. After the show, I really had to like start from the bottom, but I was a little bit more wiser. And yeah, I would just went to nearly every agency in London.
What's something that shocked you about like being in the show? Something that it happened. You was like, what? Like, what's something that surprised you that you didn't expect?
I've never really spoken about it, but I guess I'll give you the tea. So there was one episode where we'd come back from a shoot or something. I think it was elimination or a shoot. I really can't remember at this point, but the judges had sent us a gift of like alcohol. So everyone was like, yeah, cool. Like, let's get the bottles.
It's all ages, right?
Yeah, it was from 18 to I think 25. 25 or 24.
Okay.
So I was one of the youngest. So yeah, they were like, yeah, cool, like let's open up the bowls, let's drink, da, da, da. And then like loads of people had too much to drink, so they decided to turn the cameras off. And then one girl was a little bit too drunk, and I drank a little bit, but only socially, because I'd never really drank before. So I was sitting on the sofa and she came over and she's like, oh, Jennifer, like, I love your hair. And you know, like,
I don't know where this is going.
white girls, I'm just gonna say it. They can be like a bit invasive when it comes to natural hair. So she was doing that. She was doing that when she was drunk, and she was like, oh, would you do my hair? Because I had an afro and I used to cane roll my hair every night. She's like, oh, would you cane roll my hair? And I was like, yeah, like I'd cane roll your hair. I was like playing with her hair too, because the cameras were off, like it was cool. Like literally. At that point I was getting on with everyone, so it was really chill vibes. And then I think there was a camera guy who was looking at his takes that he'd made throughout the day, and then he must have seen what was going on the sofa. So he was like sitting across from us, and then he started to press record because it looked like we were getting really cozy, but in fact, like we were chill. Do you know what I mean? And then she was like really drunk, so she ended up throwing up and like being sick. So because I was sharing a room with her, I was like, I'm going to bed. If you're going to bed, I'll come with you. And we had bunk beds in it. So normally I was sharing with another girl, but because she was drunk and I was the only one, like I was her only roommate available. So I was like, okay, cool, I'll sleep with you. It's cool. So then we're in bed now, like sleeping, and then the girls burst in and they're like, oh my God, like what's going on? Like, oh my God, screaming. And I'm like, piss off, like I'm trying to sleep. And then the next day, everyone's like, oh, like what went down with you guys? Like, oh. And I'm just like, wait, what? Like, what happened? And then turns out that they like kind of made up a story that me and her were getting cozy, and because like
the girls, or
me and the girl that threw up was getting cozy, and then we took it back to the bedroom basically. So
as in the show brought that narrative,
and because you sign the contract, like they can portray you however they want really. So and because everything was muted, they couldn't actually, people watching couldn't actually hear the conversation. So all they saw was me and her playing with each other's hair, sitting on the sofa, going back into the room, girls coming out screaming. So it was like, that was when I knew like reality TV isn't so reality. But yeah, that...
They just had all the power.
Yeah, they had all the power, so...
You hear about with all the shows you see now with like Love Island and whatnot.
Yeah.
And X on the Beach and all that stuff. I think about it like, and some of them have come out who have ended the show. They've said they're like, you have no, what's the big one? Big Brother. It's like you see like an hour of a whole day. And it's like they have no power over, and they don't even know what people are seeing.
It's true.
So, and then the people who are in control, it's like they just want to do what is going to get them the most. Not clicks, but the most views. So
so lucky that like it never really blew up the way they wanted to. But like,
is this season still out there? Where can you watch this?
Like hopefully you don't watch it.
That's funny.
I don't know, like I feel like I wouldn't watch it back. That's like somebody that I'm not today. I'm much more confident and I'm just better. Like,
that's good.
Better. But
but like you said, you needed to. It's good that you experienced that.
Yeah, it's part of the growth.
Now that you're doing what you're doing, it's like you've seen that side of it. So no, it's good. You like we was speaking a bit off, and you've been working, you've been busy.
Yeah.
I said myself last year that it was the busiest year I've had, considering everything that was going on with COVID and whatnot. How has that been for you, like pre-COVID and post-COVID? I assume a lot of things have been harder.
Yeah.
But how was the first lockdown that we have now? It's like
So for me, I left my agency in February, and then I think it was the first week of March, the end of February, and then the first week of March, I think we went into lockdown, or it was the first or second week. So for me, it just was a lot of uncertainty in the first few months, and just a lot of anxiety because I really didn't know how things were going to pan out. Obviously, agencies are closed. How am I going to move forward? How am I going to continue? Obviously, I've built a lot of relationships with people outside of agencies. So it's not like work would have completely come to a halt, but it definitely would have
slowed down.
Would have slowed down. But yeah, surprisingly, I was working up and through lockdown. So even the first lockdown. So I shot magazine spreads. I helped creative what's the word? Creative director. I was assistant creative director. Okay, cool. Yeah, assistant creative director for J Huss's merch.
Yeah.
So that's like a really good thing that came out of that first one.
How did that come about? That's sick. I remember when his stuff dropped, and it was around the time his album was dropping.
Yeah.
That was sick.
So like he has like visuals and there was a whole concept behind it. And my friend Phil, he was the creative director, obviously, and he was helping with designing their merch and stuff. So he just thought to bring me in.
Connections.
Yeah. So I'm really grateful for that. That was a good opportunity, and it made me kind of see the other side to like what I do, obviously. So yeah, I think it's definitely something I might want to consider after.
And the merch is cold, man. So
yeah, it's good.
Feel in here, but hold on to you. Because the stuff is sick.
Yeah, it's really good. It was a really good opportunity. I was grateful for that. But yeah, I've done like a lot of shoots through lockdown, and then by God's grace, I got signed in August. And from then it kind of like skyrocketed. I was like doing shoots here and there like every week. So
you're about, man. The recent work you've done with you was in Burna Boy Wizkid's video. That was sick.
Yeah,
there was that through like agency stuff and whatnot.
So the casting director initially reached out to me, but yeah, that went through my agency. Yeah,
there was another video in before that.
Odile. Yeah.
Is that same thing?
They reached out to me. That was me.
And you was dancing a bit in that as well.
Yeah,
I
I got a little
dances
moves.
as well. And I was like,
yeah. So the first video, I was the main muse, the only muse, and I've never been that before. I've always been like part of a group of girls or something. I don't really do music videos, but I was just like, okay, cool. And then they were like, oh, we need you to act, and I was like, oh, okay. And then they were like, oh, you need to like be in a relationship, like act like you're in a relationship with this guy, and you know, you've come back from a night out and you're arguing. And I'm like, and then they were like, you need to hit him, and I was like, yeah, I don't know how that's gonna go, because I'm not really like an arguing type of person. I'm very just chill, so it was hard to like bring out those emotions, but I really had to dig deep down. But yeah,
I always think about the progression, like how do you go from, you know, just taking pictures, being like a model that way, and then you go to stuff like doing music video shoots and whatnot. So was that a quick transition, or? I
think being a model as well does involve a lot of acting. You really have to embody the mood board or the ideas that the creative director might have. So I always describe modeling as being a blank canvas. Like I'm the blank canvas, and whatever the photographer or the artist or whoever wants me to be, I have to become that person. So I feel like I really had a lot of experience through modeling beforehand. And a lot of models actually go on to become actors and actresses. So it's quite common for them to transition, and I feel like it's a smooth transition because you do have all those connections already as well. So I didn't find it too hard, but it was just that I had to be like a big character, and I'm very just like
I understand.
mellow. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it was good. It was good.
So that transition, you said that like starting to do music videos at first, it was a bit like you wasn't so sure because it requires a bit more.
Yeah.
Right? Like acting stuff and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting that your New Year's resolution from way back when was to come out of your shell and do a bit more things that, you know, you was afraid of doing at first. And years on, you're hitting points where you're just like, oh, this is a bit nerve-wracking, but you're still doing it. And it's not something I don't think you consciously thought about.
Yeah.
So now
I think you saying it now, I'm just like, oh yeah.
So now, I don't know, maybe the things you've done previously, they've gave you more confidence. So subconsciously now, when there's something that you're doing that you come up to, you're like, nah, I can do it anyway. Because, so I don't know, I've just picked that up. I feel that's interesting. And there's a lot of people out there that, like you said, they didn't know. Like you said, you didn't know. They have no idea, no clue where to start. Like there was one point I thought the only way someone becomes a model is like if they're walking in the shopping centre and someone sees them and like, oh, you could be a model, and they're like genuinely authentic. So like, how does someone, in your opinion, like, what advice would you give to someone who was like really trying to start?
In this generation, things have changed quite a bit. I think social media is such a powerful tool. So many people have had opportunities through like social media. So the first thing I would say is your Instagram needs to be your portfolio. So even before you get signed, I think you need to act like you're signed. And manifest it. Do you know what I mean? So so like fake it till you make it. So have good pictures on your Instagram, face shots, headshots, full-length shots, show your style and show your personality. These days, modeling isn't just about being a size 6 and being like 5'10". It's about having a presence and people being interested in you, not just what you can do in front of a camera. So that's like one of the first things I would say. And the second thing would be avoid any agency or anyone that claims to be an agency that makes you pay for anything.
So at what point do you like become a professional model? Is it after you've done a certain amount of shoots or something?
Yeah, so it's after you have a certain amount of pictures in your book. Right. I think it's 100 in your portfolio. I'm not too sure off the top of my head. So I heard,
because I was one of the people who got into like modeling that way, like you do a shoot with a company and you pay them for it, and then they say, oh, we're going to send it off or whatever to different agencies. And one of them said something like, oh, you're not professional model until you've done a certain amount of shoots or something. And they said something like that, and like said something like, until then you would like be paying or something.
No.
Or so
it doesn't work like that though. So you would say, so when you join an agency, like I think I know what you mean, but when you join an agency, you'd be on the new faces. And then when you're on the main board, that's when like you're like, you'd considered a model that gets work weekly and is doing like big things and is just basically on a roll. But you never pay a single cent when you join a legit agency. They would always take a cut from your first pay, or they would always take a cut from your paid jobs. So the cut would include your portfolio. You pay to be on the website as well. So that's what you would ever pay for. And obviously they would take their percentage from a shoot. People that make you pay, I would always be very skeptical because all the big agencies like Storm, Elite, Select, Nevs never make you pay.
I'm gonna nod like I know all of the agencies.
So they'll never make you pay. They always take their percentage. They always take their cut from your paid jobs, and that's how they get paid. So
it's important.
There's never a joining fee.
You getting into, so let's say now, fast forward now, you've got a bit of experience, like you've done a bit of stuff. How hard was it for you to adjust being like who you are, being a black woman, being slim, like you said, people would say, oh, you should be model, you're slim, whatever. So how was that experience for you? Was it easy? Was some things easy for you? Like people just, you got jobs quicker, or was it like the opposite? Was it quite hard?
I grew up not really like confident in myself. I was always a little bit shy. So starting modeling was really like a big, like it was beyond throwing myself into the deep end. Like it was scary. Doing my first job, I can't remember what it was. I think my first job was beauty. So I was kind of used to that because, you know, I would do makeup tutorials on YouTube, and then I'd like do beauty shots on my own. So that was something that I was a little bit more confident with. But doing shows and like doing editorial shoots and stuff like that was a little bit more daunting because I was still feeling like I was finding myself,
of course,
and kind of like finding my ground and like who I am. And yeah, I think modeling kind of helped me to explore different sides of myself, and it kind of opened my eyes to like parts of me that I didn't really see or didn't really know about or shied away from. But I kind of realized in some shoots I was the token black girl, and in hindsight didn't really sit right with me. I think we've come a long way. But there is
you
still...
was there just so they could say, oh, we've got...
So like in group beauty campaigns, I was there, and then sometimes I did one shoot, and obviously I'm like quite fair-skinned. When I saw the images come back, they had edited me to be a dark-skinned girl.
Wow.
So it kind of felt like I felt bad because I'm taking up space where a dark-skinned girl
like
should be.
Like they didn't have to do that.
They didn't have to edit the image the way they did. They could have just booked a dark-skinned girl. So yeah, I feel like I always try to be conscious about the jobs that I pick, because obviously I don't want to be taking up space where, like, I don't want to be taking up a seat where a dark-skinned girl should be sitting. I feel like we all deserve equal platforms. I faced like a few microaggressions as a black woman with hair, makeup.
Like, would you come across someone that they're just so far attached from you and your culture and your style and how you are, they don't know how to... like a lot, like it's so common. Normally for shoots, if I get booked for a shoot, I would research the makeup artist and the hair artist, and I'll scroll through their Instagram, scroll through their portfolio, and if they haven't done black skin, or if they've done black skin and it looks very questionable, then I'll bring my makeup bag. And it really shouldn't be like that. Same thing with hair. I'll bring my hair stuff. And you've got, I've seen, but you do bare different hairstyles as well. So it's not like you're just like mad simple, you know, you can be, but... Like
I've had to learn as well. Like I learned for myself, but it's good that I've learned for myself, because now I can use that for when a hairstylist doesn't know what to do with my hair. I've come to shows, I've turned up to shows, 7 a.m. call times, my hair is not done. And then the head hairstylist will check me off as my hair being done, because they just can't be bothered to put in that effort, or they just don't know how, they've not been taught. So it's just like,
I mean, you'd imagine like this is how it is, like even with it being so daunting, they said it can be daunting. It's like, it's understandable, because you would imagine you doing your own YouTube videos and your own beauty tutorials, like you're in control of that, and then now you have to go do shoots, you have to go do shows. It's like other people now are in charge, and they're deciding whether you're good enough for whatever they want or not. And it's like, if they were to say no, there's a girl on Instagram, like she's a model. Her name, I don't know her name. Her name's you might know her name is Eva. You know, she's Ugandan or something. And I heard her in an interview one time. She said they asked her if she does runway shows, and she said when she was younger, like 17 or something, And she's like quite slim as well. And she said when she was young, at 17 or something, like the director or something came up to her and like pinched her skin. I said, no, this one's too fat or something, or this one's too big, something like that. And after that, she said, no, she's not ever doing like runways again. And obviously, you hear stories about how like that industry could be, but just hearing that story from her, I'm like, what?
Yeah, like some people can be just so disgusting, I guess. I remember I was on Britain's Next Top Model, and she's quite big in the industry, so I'm not even gonna say her name, but this was like before the cameras were on, and obviously like we were greeting the judges, and I was like, good morning, saying her name, and then she goes, oh, don't wear that dress again, you look pregnant in that dress. Wild. So like I feel like as a model, people just expect us to take shit, or just be treated like we're nothing.
Why? How can you say that?
Because I think as well, like the sample sizes are so small, and once you're like an inch or if it fits a little bit too snug, like you're considered too big. But in fact, like we are underweight. But yeah, it's hard. You have to have really tough skin, but also you have to stand up for yourself as well. Like you can't let people talk to you anyhow, no matter how big they are or no matter what name they have for themselves. At the end of the day, you matter, your mental health matters. So
that's something that translates in life as well. Like you need to understand your value and your worth, and whether it's in that sort of industry or just in life, you can't let anyone take that for granted, because you should know, hopefully you do know what you bring to the table, what you offer. So yeah, that's something that I feel like, especially if there's a lot of young black people listening to, I feel like you wanted to talk about that, because I could only imagine not being in the industry. I can only imagine from stories I hear and just the way life is, how difficult it can be for like a black girl coming in the industry like this. And not that you're the only black girl, there's tons of black girls, but you hear stories about different things. And being a model and your experience growing, how much confidence has that given you in yourself and who you are and how you look? Like you said, when you was younger, you had a lot of problems with that. Like I feel like a lot of black people, I did too. I feel like a lot of black people did, especially I'm a dark-skinned guy. So back then growing up, like you secondary school and whatnot, there's tons of different things. But has being a model and the experience you had, has the confidence grown with it? Yeah.
One thing about like being a model is like going to castings. So when you go into castings, you literally have like less than 5 minutes to make an impression of the casting to the casting director. So usually like I said before, usually I'd walk into a room and like not say anything. But being a model, I had to adapt to like opening up and like being very like open and smiley and happy and, you know, trying to make a good impression. And I think that's translated into my everyday life. So if I meet somebody new, I always try to make a good impression because at the end of the day, like you never know what opportunities that person could connect you to. And also just in general, like it's always good to make a good impression or make that effort to be a little bit more open and a little bit more confident.
I think there's something very important about like energies and like auras. Because like you said, them casting things, whether it's for modeling, whether it's like for a movie or whatnot, there's 100 people they got to go through.
It's true. So
you have minutes to literally leave your mark.
And be memorable.
So like, and I've heard big directors and whatnot talk, and they've said things like someone could leave and they could just be like, I'm not feeling that person, but they don't have a reason. It's just energy. It's just so it's like that's even something that I have taken myself. So I played football. So I remember when I was 16, 17, I met a coach who was quite a big coach. He could connect me to different places. And I met him came up to me, put his hand. I said, "How you doing?" And I put my hand out. I shook his hand, and he said to me, "Oh, have you been at academy, like a proper big academy?" And I said, "No." And he said, "I could tell by the way you shook my hand." And I was like I never gave a second thought about shaking people's hands. And it was basically saying that my hand, I was just like, it wasn't like, how to say you shake firm hands. My hand was just like, you could tell by the way you shook my hand. Like I wasn't someone that had like been in certain rooms because they would have told me that by now. And I was like, from my handshake, someone can tell.
Yeah, from the littlest thing, somebody can tell.
So that's when I took it as like, you need to like not like be loud, but like assert yourself when you meet.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that like it stuck with me. And every time I meet people, like I always, make myself aware, make myself there. It's so important. Like I don't think people understand exactly how important that is. But with the modeling, you've done shoots, have you done runways?
Yeah.
You've done runways, sick. You've done music videos.
Yeah.
What else have you done?
Beauty campaigns, beauty shoots, editorials.
What's your favourite?
I'd say editorials because...
Editorials are...
It's more like...
I know, this just jogged my memory.
It's more like creative concepts, things outside the box,
Okay.
not your conventional e-commerce.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like creative
Is that
vibes,
something that
energies.
you control yourself or?
No, so that would like be the photographer or whoever has the concept. And though those aren't usually paid, because it is just like a group of people collaborating and just coming up with different ideas, which are usually submitted to magazines. I think those are my most favorite ones because I never really know who I'm going to be when I turn up.
That reminds me, the things that you do on your own, like with on your Instagram or whatnot. How did that even come about? Because I know you were talking about, your advice to someone would be work on your social media, your Instagram and whatnot. How did you get about doing your own work and tell people what you do? Okay,
so I would call myself a content creator as well, / model. And I basically started in the beginning of lockdown. I had just left my agency, and in that moment in time, I felt like I was at a standstill. So I was just like, okay, cool. Looks like nothing's happening for a while. Let me just do something.
Was this last year?
Last year. So my sister, she actually got me into it because she wanted to start working with brands. She saw people like Kenza, Eva, and a lot of girls on Instagram, getting collaborations with brands, and you getting paid collaborations. So she kind of wanted to do that. I never really looked at that because I was always so busy in my everyday life, and I was already a model. So I was just like, on my days off, I literally just be in my onesie chilling. So it wasn't really something I looked into. But when I started to take her pictures, I was like, let me benefit from this. Let's have shoot days where you take pictures and I'll take pictures too. So, and then she started collaborating with brands, and I was like, okay, cool. Like I see all this stuff coming in, and so I was like, let me try too. And I had a relationship with Boohoo and Nasty Girl through modelling. I used to go to all their Fashion Week events. So I reached out to them and I was just like, hey, how are you? Just like reminding them of who I was. And I was like, oh, moving forward, I'd love to like start working with you on Instagram. And Nasty Girl was the first brand that reached out to me, the first brand that worked with me actually, creating content, paid content, and we worked with each other for about 3 months, and then I moved on to different brands. I started to show a little bit more of my personality through my style and dress sense. So it kind of like grew from there. Me and my sister were like blowing up a little bit more, and we started our joint page late last year, though we're not consistent because our lives are very different. she's had a lot of opportunities through me and her having our joint page. So a lot of people who were in contact with me have now like reached out to her. And yeah, we've got some like really big things coming up for this year. So I'm really excited.
So how does it work? Like, how do you do it? Like, I know over the past few years, people have got that, what's that light thing with the circle?
Ring light.
Yeah, ring light. That makes sense. I know baby people get that now. Do you use that? And you set up a phone? Do you have a proper camera?
So I have a Canon 700D or 7ED. I can't remember from the top of my head. And I bought a camera stand. So I basically turn my phone to portrait mode, turn my camera to portrait mode, and I set a timer and with a flash. So I would go and scout locations. I live in West, so it's pretty nice there. So it's not too far. And then plan my outfit, do my hair, makeup, and then go out. Normally it's me and my sister, so she'll take pictures of me and we'll have our suitcase with a little changing tent, or we could just like put our clothes on top of whatever. And then she'll take pictures of me and I'll take pictures of her. But because she's gone to uni, she started uni in September, I've had a lot of time. And I've had to adapt. So I started taking pictures on my own. So I would use my camera stand and the camera on portrait mode, set a timer, and then pose. It's a lot of trial and error, and it does take a little bit more time to get the shot that I want, but it's all worth it in the end.
Is this something that people are doing, like models are doing, or is it something that, or you don't? It's something that you just know you do?
It's something that I know that I do, but I've seen a lot of people now, with lockdown, meeting up and having people like groups of friends taking pictures is not really possible. So I've seen I can't remember what her name is on Instagram, but she's an American girl and she uses her phone. She does the exact same thing, and she uses her phone to take pictures on her own. And yeah, I feel like a lot of people who were kind of putting off being a content creator or influencer have started to use this method of taking pictures. So yeah, I feel like it's really good. Like, it's empowering and it's innovative. So yeah.
So the way I see it is, you're investing time into yourself. Like, you're buying your own camera, your own setup, your own what do you call it? Ring light. How important is it, like, for someone to invest time into themselves to get to where they want to be? How important has it been for you?
For me, it's been so important because you never know who's watching. Big casting directors. I've done like so many big jobs. I don't post everything on Instagram, but I've done so much just through Instagram. People message me like weekly. My DMs are literally full of like people asking me to shoot, or people asking me to work with their brand, or send me different stuff because of the time that I've put into myself. Like, if I just was on my phone, just like taking pictures in bad lighting, or not really making the effort, or not really nitpicking and being a perfectionist at what I put online, people, big brands wouldn't be reaching out to me. And for me, like, my social media is proof of like what I can do, or like what services I can provide for you. So it's so important to just invest in yourself and try to be the best that you could be. There's so many people out here doing the same thing, but the one thing that makes you stand out from everyone else is how much time you invest into yourself, because it shows that you have passion, and it shows that you actually love what you're doing. So yeah, for me, it's so important. It's
paid off.
Yeah, definitely.
I forgot all the things you do now. You do so much editorial stuff, shoots, music videos, runways.
Yeah.
You said a big avenue people going to acting. Is that something you'd ever?
I never really considered acting. But then after the Odile shoot and how good everything came out, I was like, okay, cool. Like maybe I can do this. So I think when I graduate and I have a little bit more time, it's definitely something I want to consider. I don't really know how to go about it.
Yeah.
But I didn't really know how to go about modeling. And, you know, I came out fine. So
did you make a New Year's resolution this year?
My New Year's resolution for this year was to be more open. So
how's that going?
I mean, I'm here. So normally I wouldn't do like talk shows. I wouldn't really. I feel like for me, I don't know. I feel like sometimes I feel like I have imposter syndrome. Like I feel like sometimes my life is like really boring and there's nothing special about me. To have a platform to speak on my experiences, but I decided to be more open and come today and just speak and share a little insight or advice.
Now, well, listen, I believe everyone has a story. I believe everybody has a story. On top of that, because I have my own what I like, what I don't like. Some people, to me, have a more interesting story than others. When I saw you in uni and we spoke a bit, and I thought, oh, she's cool. And then I saw your profile, saw what you do. I was like, okay, like already I was like, okay, she's just in the industry you're in and who you are. I was like, I just felt to myself, there's someone that I would want to get on the podcast because I felt like what she does and what she's doing is something that a lot of people are trying to do or trying to get in. You may have similar stories that a lot of people have had. You may have stories that a lot of people will get to, or people that have already had. So now, for one, I'm happy you're here.
I'm happy I came today.
I'm happy you're here. I knew that there was something that you could talk about that could help someone else. So I appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Tell people how to find you, how to get you, YouTube, Instagram.
So wait, do I look into there?
No.
Do I look in?
Sure.
Okay, cool. My Instagram is my full name, Jennifer Malengele, JENNIFER MALENGELE. My email is the same at hotmail.com for jobs. And yeah, that's it really.
It will be there. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. Guys, I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you joining in. Hope to see you again. Enjoy your Valentine's Day. Those of you who are single, like all of us in this room, we will enjoy it too on our own. So yeah, episode 6. Thank you for joining in. We'll leave you to it. Have a good morning, have a good day, have a good night. Stay safe, stay sweet, stay street.